intuitive life coach, and I want to welcome you to Shortcuts for Your Soul. Today we have an interesting subject in the Divine Collect with me, discussing the concept of life and death. They came in about 2 hours ago and they kind of whispered to me at first, I wasn't really getting. They said, William, what most humans don't realize is that they have far greater control over their life and their death than most are conscious of. But there are some among you that have great understanding of the concept of life and death as it relates to your body, as it relates to your mind, as it relates to your soul. There is a process of life and death that each of you has an awareness of some degree to. You certainly know when you are facing death, because you are suffering when you are facing death. And when you are facing life, you are experiencing joy and gratitude and happiness. I hope you'll take the time to share this video out to others that may be interested in this concept of life and death, because we're going to get into what they mean specifically about that. In every single instant, it's really we are either in life or we are in death in any given moment of time. Whether we're drinking water, whether we're drinking Coca-Cola, wine, every choice that we make for our body, for our thoughts, and for our soul, our world, our life and death choices. And when it comes to food and living stuffs, eating live food, consuming things that are living, that put more life in your body, we know the difference. And the people that know the difference and choose to ignore that knowledge are suffering. People eat highly processed foods all the time, going out to McDonald's and all those places that don't provide you with food that's got life in it. You suffer accordingly. Any of those places. Putting live food in your body. How often do you do that? I do that every day because I know it's essential. Now, one of the other things they said is that you can do more. They said, William, you can always do more. Put 100% more life in your body. Double your efforts. And for me, I'm looking at that. Well, what does that mean? They said, well, one of the things I can do is I can do another cleanse. I can clear the body up more, fine-tune the body. And everything you put in your body, everything you put in that body is either going to give your body life or going to give your body death. There's no way around it. You're either putting life in the body or you're putting death in the body. And that's pretty stark, when they said that, it's pretty stark. There's only life or death. You can have more life while you're in that physical body, or you can have less life while you're in that physical body. Very fascinating, isn't it? The other thing they mentioned was the same thing applies for the mind. That your mind is a life or death process in relation to the types of thoughts that you have. Your thoughts and the emotions your thoughts generate will give your mind more life or more death. It will make it more functional or less functional, more effective or less effective. Thoughts have life and death in them. The nature and quality of your thoughts is a life or death process, as equally as what you put into your body is a life or death process for your body. As you understand the importance of correct thinking, thoughts that enliven, uplift, inspire, empower yourselves and others into higher frequencies of energy where we exist all the time, you may do this while you're in that physical body with your thoughts. You may enliven that body, enliven your mind with life-giving thoughts, life-giving emotions. Some emotions have life. Other emotions, like fear, have death. Love is a living energy. Fear is a decaying energy. And for your mind, the decay of the mind, there are many conditions that we see from our perspective that represent a mind that is dying, that does not have thoughts, ideas, and energies of a life-giving nature in them. Many of the physical conditions that you see in this world, physical conditions that are effects of thoughts and emotions collectively built up over a period of time that can cause things like memory loss, a misunderstanding of your identity, instability in terms of your ability to manage emotional energy effectively. And if you're lost in negative emotional energies, you're suffering, you're dying. Your mind will die with lots of negative emotional energy feeding it. And if your thoughts are correspondingly destructive, then the same thing will be true for that. But you have a choice. All of you have a choice. Are your thoughts life-giving or are they life-taking? And do the emotions that your thoughts embody, do they give you life or death? The next area is the soul. Your soul is meant to be a sentient, free-willed consciousness that can function independent of the body and independent of thought and emotion. But if the nature of the thoughts and the emotions and the condition of the body are of such disregard, then you might find your soul lost in the suffering of matter. And if your soul is lost in the suffering of matter, you become identified, restricted, embodied, grounded in matter exclusively. For you cannot ignore the suffering of others any more than you can ignore the suffering of yourself. You are able as a soul, as an awakened entity, to alter, change the qualities and constitution of energy as it is embodied in the form that you exist in. When you are able to deliberately, as an awareness, alter mind and matter, deliberately able to alter mind and matter from the perspective of soul, your soul lives beyond the form in the conscious knowing of its existence, that the identity, the personality, is not the sole source of your being. You are a sentient being called a soul, existing through mind and matter, consciously or unconsciously. And if it is consciously, then you will choose things that will consciously make the mind and body more effective. And if you are choosing unconsciously, you will think and do things that make the body less effective, make the mind less effective. And when you are lost in the body and it's suffering, and it ceases to exist because of its suffering, it dies prematurely, and you are unaware that you are not that body, that you are not that mind, then you come back for another round. You come back into re-embody yourself to learn the process of life, that you will have life and have it more abundantly. And only can you do this consciously. But first you must begin to examine what are the constitutions of the body. What are the things that you put into it? What life do you give to it? What life do you take from it? What thoughts give your mind life and joy and freedom and excitement, playfulness? What thoughts take the life and the light from your mind? What enlivens your awareness, your joy, your sense of who you are as a being? What does this? You must do this consciously. We are here to assist you, to offer you information to consider, to experiment and explore with, to begin to experience the deliberate effects of your own choices consciously, so that you may develop the process of free will and free choice, which must be chosen. All are given the mechanism of free will, but not all exercise it consciously. Most of you are directed by this external world around you to be the guideposts, the signposts for who it is you will be or not be. And who is that? Is it somebody that's based in love, telling you what you should eat or what you should drink? Is it somebody giving you ideas that ennoble your mind and make it excited about the very nature and expression and creation of life itself in this world? Are you enlivened, uplifted, and inspired? It is a choice. It is a choice you must all make consciously. It cannot be made automatically, but there are others who will make that choice for you. We are not predisposed to do anything other than to offer you ideas that would give your body, your mind, and your soul the life that is what you are. The life that is what you are. Yeah. When they first said to me, like, it's really important to examine, are you giving your body enough life? So I'm reevaluating now. What more can I do to give this body more life? Because we are these non-physical beings that come into the form just as they are non-physical beings communicating to us, right? Through many mediums. And we have to become conscious that we can give life, like as the Creator has given you the ability to be aware that you're aware. We have that ability to be conscious over the body, to alter and change and organize the way this matter functions. And the idea that we can do even better at that is exciting to me. The idea that we can extend our life far longer with greater quality than what most people are trained to believe they can. We have become conditioned to become dependent upon what the outside world tells us is better for us, rather than knowing from our own experience. I know when I drink a greens drink every morning, or I eat an apple, I know what happens in my body. I can feel, the energy of the apple. I can feel the energy of the living juices and stuff that I consume. Then there's exercise and movement and other fundamental things that we can do. And we all know this. Everybody knows this, but many of us elect not to do it, in spite of what we know. Why is that? And so I asked them, I said, why is that? And what they told me, they said, most people are lazy. Most people do not want to think or put out the effort, or they are so conditioned into the body's conditioning of its existence that they want to go on the organic arc that the body organically goes through. But you are not that body, and when you learn to alter the way you have a relationship with it, you can make that arc more of a climb rather than an up and a down. But the body in and of itself has only the will of the body itself, the fundamental needs. It does not have the ability to rise above its own conditioning. We wish to repeat that to you. Your body does not have the ability to rise above its own conditioning. You, as the sentient awareness in that form there, you are the ascender here. You are the one that can raise this up from the dead. You can raise this form up from the dead. And by this we mean by giving your body more life. By giving your body more life. Giving your thoughts more life, more light. You are the one that does this. The mind and the body cannot remake themselves. They can be remade by others' influence, but they can most importantly be remade by your influence. But many of you have recognized this limiting belief that you think you are that body, that is what constitutes who you are, or that you are those thoughts, that's who you are. But this is not true. It's not true at all. And when you recognize that, when you find yourself to be free to choose and to act, to incline your body to act as you would wish it to act, knowing full well that certain inclinations that you impose upon the body will generate specific conditions in it. You know this. We will. Thank you, Kelly. Really appreciate that super chat. Good morning, everybody. So we're going to do Q&A. I love these guys. The Divine Collective is, for those of you that don't know, is literally a collage of ascended masters and multidimensional beings that work as a collective, and they call themselves the Divine Collective. They use the word divine to differentiate in by a degree the consciousness at which they function from versus the consciousness which most of us function from, which is mostly as this body, as this mind. That's how most people think of themselves, as a body-mind. The Divine Collective do not think of themselves as body-mind. They know themselves to be pure energy that can move through many dimensions of consciousness, above and below. They can interact with us here in this physical dimension, and there are many of them that are in physical forms that consciously know that they are ascended beings that are working with us all around the world right now to try and get people to engage the energy of life instead of the energy of suffering and death. Very exciting. Wow. Question from Kelly. I am about to receive a 3D crystal Merkabah. Will this help me in my awakening spiritual connection? And do they have any message for me? Kelly, Metatron stepping forward, he says, when you use the Merkabah, use the sound. He's saying the sound, there are two sounds, the sound of Om, and the sound of Ah. These can be varied in length, duration. The shorter usage of these words, Om, Ah, the longer versions of these words, Om, Ah, have different functionalities to them. When you rest in this energy of the Merkabah, use these sounds. Very intuitively, you'll discover what function they do in terms of preserving organs, bringing in more energy, bringing in more light, bringing expanded awareness and consciousness of yourself into mind and body. But these specific sounds for you will work very well. Have fun to play with them and experience their energy. Experience your use of that. Experience your use of that and how it impacts your body, how it impacts your physical mind, how it impacts the energy of time and space around you. Saying have fun with that too. Good morning, Bethany. Hi. Question from Flipside. What is the difference between trust and blind faith? Thank you for that question. The difference between trust and blind faith is not that large. Trust is something that you know something in. Trust is something you know something in. Trust is something you know something in. Blind faith is where you suspect that there is something you can trust that is beyond your knowledge. But trust is when you know there's something within the scope of your knowledge that will work on your behalf. Trust is knowing. Blind faith is blind faith, where there is no direct knowing, but there's the hypothesis that there might be something that is greater than what you know, that you can engage. We prefer trust in what you know than blind faith. Blind faith is the beginning for some of you. Blind faith is the beginning for some of you to liberate yourselves. Thank you. Question from Daniela. I've been thinking lately a lot of Patty. Is she on the other side and has a message for me? Excuse me. I'm not getting that. I'm getting she's like in a between place. She's in a between place, weighing and measuring which one she will choose. The experiences she's had on earth have prepared her for one path, but she also knows there is another available and another. So she's weighing vibrationally which one she will choose. Do you have a message for her? Be kind in your choice. Be kind in your choice. I'm not sure what that refers to. Yeah, just to tell you to be kind in your choice, in the way you carry out your choice. I don't know what that means, but whatever choice she's referring to, be kind. Yes, I'm just answering what she means by that. Be kind in the carrying out of your choice. Be kind in that process. So whatever it is you've got underway, carry it out in a kind fashion. Right? Thank you. Thank you. Very interesting energy when they're in between. A question from Drusilla. Any message from Archangel Michael or Metatron having issues? They're giggling at your question. They don't have any issues. They understand that you mean them. Yes. There is so much letting go for many of you. The detachment from the lower vibrational energies of suffering are very crucial at this time. Many of you think you have to deal with it, to wrestle with your suffering, to wrestle with those internal emotions or those past awarenesses and find yourself dancing with your devil, so to speak. Well, we would simply say, let go of that. Focus on your light. Focus on your joy. Focus on peace. And give that which gives you peace and joy. Give that to your suffering. Give your joy to your suffering and lift it up. Lift it up. Do not dance with it, but simply extend your light to it. Yeah, it's kind of like the difference between the feeling I get from that. It's the difference between like focusing on why am I feeling so terrible is one thing versus recognizing there's a part of me that feels uncomfortable and then extending love to it. There's a distinct difference between those two functions, and they're very beneficial if you understand that concept. Great question. Thank you, Drusilla. Oh, you're welcome, Danielle. Question from Lysandra. Is there a message from my grandmother to the family? She's saying, she's saying have a bucket full of fun, like just have fun. Tell everyone to have fun. While you're there, have fun. Yeah, like really get all that somber stuff out of there. She's saying like, yes, tell them please to have fun. Like get up and have fun. There is nothing lost but the moment. There can be nothing lost but the moment. So celebrate. Celebrate. I am not lost, nor are you, unless you choose to be lost. Delight in your joy. Delight in your joy. All of you. Come together in this. Come together in your joy. Do not come together in your suffering or notions of suffering. That is such a waste. Enjoy. Wow. Thank you, Drusilla. I really appreciate that. Nobody is ever absent. Nobody is ever absent from creation. All of us, physical, non-physical, multidimensional, we are all part of creation. We are all part of it. Question from Mike. My dad is in the hospital. I last spoke to him on Friday and felt that his spirit was already decided to leave. Will he return, or has he really decided to move on? He's excited to move on. He's very excited to move on. He's waiting for somebody to connect. There's somebody he's waiting. Waiting or hoping? He's waiting and hoping that this one will connect with him. Not simply to hold my hand, but to join my heart. See, what a lot of people don't realize, when people are in transitions, people go in states where they're in unconscious states. Their body is unconscious, but their soul is awake. If you got a family member who's transitioning and they're ready to leave the body and they're not conscious physically, they can hear your thoughts. They can't hear your words, your physical words, because your physical words are a sound wave. And a sound wave works only on matter, the physical body. The soul works on the level of energy, which is thought. So the soul can hear your thoughts and will respond to them. It's an amazing thing. Remember, the soul can hear thoughts when its body is unconscious. That's why when we leave our bodies, when the body goes to rest at night, we leave our bodies because we're not bound by matter. But the level of communication that happens on the level of soul is different than the level of communication that happens on the level of biology. Biology is based in the 5 physical senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, right? So when you speak words, you're speaking to the system. But when you think a thought, that's invisible energy. Thought is not matter. Thought is energy that can affect matter. But the soul will always hear thoughts when the body is not functional. So think to those loved ones that you want to connect to, Learn to connect with your awareness through thought, not through sound. Although some of them have done that too. Thank you, Mike. That's a great question. Hello, Fardima. I managed to get the emerald. Does he have any other instructions for me? Wow, he says he's very grateful. He's saying in thine left hand, in your left hand, hold it. Bring this light to your heart. Bring this light to your heart. Awaken the internal flame. Awaken the internal flame. Once the flame is awakened, contemplate on it. Allow the flame to be its life within you. What will this do? It will awaken the upper chambers. It will awaken the upper chambers. But the light in your heart must be activated more so. So that's really cool. Thank you for that. So yeah, bring it right. Like literally, he's showing. Like I wasn't in the film, but he's saying, bring the emerald in the left hand. Put it to the heart. Allow the energy of the emerald, while it's over the heart with the hand, allow the energy of the emerald to activate the flame in your heart, the emerald light in your heart. This will in turn begin to activate the third eye, the upper chambers, is what he's calling them. Very cool. Thanks for that question. Let's see, scroll down here. Question from Carolyn. May I ask for a message from my dad, John Walsh? Thank you. Wow. John, yeah, he's really moved. That soul has moved on. Like that soul has really moved on. What's in his wake? The only thing I get is from the wake. I'm told to focus on the wake he left. He left in the wake of peace. He left in the wake of peace. And on this you should dwell. On this peace you should dwell. This is where he left, in peace. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. That's a great question, Skyheart. Are they happy? We are always happy with all of you. To be anything less would be a disservice to ourselves as well. There is no process of right or wrong. There is just the process of your experience. We would encourage more of you to consider that which is life-giving over that which is not life-giving. As we began this communication today, you have the choice in every moment to have life or death. It is given to you as the Creator gave you this. The Creator gave you this power to choose life or death. So ask yourself this question. For the entirety of humanity must do this, as each individual must choose to do this. Are your actions with your body life-giving? Are you giving your body more life? Are you giving your mind more life? Are you giving your soul more life? Or are you giving the opposite? You are free to choose to live either one. So it is not a matter of whether or not we are displeased. We are always pleased with the progress because there is only progress. You will see that you are not so much different than what we are when you awaken. When you awaken, you will not see that. We are so different. Danielle, suddenly my skin turned black next to my eyes. Is it caused by eye strain? No, I'm not. What's that caused by? The words they're saying is you need to release that darkness from your heart so that you see only light. Can this be a dietary thing? It is not either or. This is both. The condition of matter and mind are very closely related. If the thoughts of mind are life-giving and the actions of what you place into the body is life-giving, then you will see the radiance of life through the eyes of that form. The conditions of matter are very precise and responsive to the conditions of your thought and your emotion, which are inseparable. Your thought and your emotion are very inseparable in terms of how they will influence the conditions of your body. Likewise, what you put into the body is inseparable from the conditions of the body similarly. And you may suspend your body in the vibration of life from both ends, from below and from above. From what you shall eat and what you shall drink and what you shall think and feel. Well, thank you, Daniela. Great question. Take another question from Lysandra here. I had a dream of my grandmother and I can still feel her skin and her hug. What happened? You know exactly what happened. They're saying you know exactly what happened. You've glimpsed and feel and know that the illusion of death is the illusion of death. Well, as we said, we could take one more question, and that it would be the last question of today. As you can see, this world is happening around us. There are some that want to hear and some that don't want to hear. And so we will say to you, have a wonderful day. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.